Well, hello there, and welcome to this Q&A about the AT parenting community. I am excited to dive in and teach you what's inside the AT parenting community because a lot of people get confused about the group and what things I offer. So before I jump in, I'll just introduce myself. You're watching this either on my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, I think my private profile. I'm not even sure where we're streaming all of this, but my name is Natasha Daniels, for those of you that are just stumbling along and you don't know me. And I am an anxiety and OCD child therapist, and I've been an anxiety and OCD child therapist for 2 decades. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, 2 decades, is that right? And it's like, yeah, actually 2 decades and a half. So that's kind of crazy. But more importantly, I have 3 kids with anxiety, OCD. It's a bit of an alphabet soup. RFID, ASD, ADHD. With 3 kids, we've got lots of different things going on. My kids are 14, 16, and 22. And I provide global resources for parents who are raising kids with anxiety and OCD. And there is a real gap in support for parents in particular who are raising kids with OCD. And so I find that those are the parents that tend to gravitate towards me, are parents who are in the throes of OCD with a lot of these co-occurring conditions. And there's a reason for that, because as parents supporting our kids, and when I say kids, I mean kids, teens, and adults. We have a lot of people in the community who have kids who are in their 20s, late 20s even. And when you're a parent trying to support your child with OCD, it doesn't matter how old they are. That parenting and that support doesn't end, that continues. And so my goal and my hope is to provide that support for you as the parent, no matter where you are on this journey. So some people are just starting out, and some people have been on this journey for decades. And who holds us and who supports us? And if you have been dealing with this even for a short period of time, you know that it is a sea of chaos out there. There are so many mental health professionals who do not understand OCD. There are so many misguided suggestions and advice because people don't understand OCD. And the burden on the parent is so intense because we're often just holding it together, trying to find resources for our kids, trying to support ourselves, and it can be a lot. And so back in 2019, I created the AT parenting community. I had already at that point had my podcast. So I have a podcast that comes out every Tuesday. Maybe some of you listen to it. It's AT Parenting Survival Podcast. And the AT is a long story. So don't let that distract you. It's a long story, but it's just AT now. That's what we call it. And I had an online school at AT Parenting Survival School. And I created courses for parents to get their skills themselves so they can learn how to navigate this at home. And I had a lot of people reaching out to me. At that point, I still had a private practice on top of everything. And I had a lot of people reaching out and saying, like, we want more in-depth support. We want a community. I do have a large public Facebook group, which I think this is streaming into as well. But people wanted more in-depth support. And so I decided I would create the AT parenting community, which would be a member community. And I would really double down on focusing on that community and providing them with a network of parents to support them. I would be able to jump in and really roll up my sleeves and support people. And it's grown over the years because that started in 2019. I can't believe that was 2019. So I think we're up to our 6-year anniversary in a few days, actually, because I think the anniversary is January 22nd, if I can remember correctly. And that'll be our 6-year anniversary. So we've been around for a while. And I wanted to jump on this Q&A today to answer any questions you have about the community and to walk you through it. Because sometimes people get confused because I am on social media. I'm doing reels every day. I have a podcast that comes out. I have a school with courses. And so they're like, well, what's the community? And sometimes people think when I say community, I'm talking about my large, free, public Facebook group. They think that's what I mean by community. That's not what I mean. That is just a service I provide. I don't go in there and support people. There's 40,000 parents in there. I can't support everybody. I get overwhelmed myself with my own anxiety. The AT parenting community is a member community, and it answers a couple of pain points for parents. And so the first struggle is feeling alone. There is nothing worse than feeling isolated. And I get this even on my own personal level. If I didn't even have the AT parenting community, I would feel isolated. Recently, we've been dealing with my son's ARFID, which is avoidance restricted food intake disorder, which is a whole separate thing, not really separate, co-occurring, but separate topic. And I was getting a lot of support from the community, and members were giving me advice and telling me their experiences. And it felt less lonely knowing I was in it with all these other parents. Even though I'm, the host of the community, I'm still just a member of the community. So feeling isolated and alone is one piece of the puzzle that the community answers. The other thing is a lack of support. And so you may find this yourself, that you can't find a therapist that understands OCD. Or, I feel like treatment comes and goes. I don't know about you, and maybe you can tell me in the comments. And if you're watching this on the series website, if you're watching it on a phone and turn it horizontal, you can see the comments. So that you can participate, because I can see comments coming from different places because we're streaming this in multiple places. But how many therapists has your child seen? Right? Tell me in the comments. My daughter has seen, I think, 4 or 5 therapists, and she's only 14. My son, I think, has seen maybe 3 or 4. That's actually really low. And that's with a mom who knows what to look for and knows what to ask, and knows all the resources. But most people have to see tons of therapists before they find the right one. And then if they find the right one, it could be cost prohibitive, or their child doesn't want to go, or their child is over 18 and they can't even register them or sign up because the child's is a legal adult. That can be really, really tricky. And so getting our own support and learning how to support them in the home environment is really important. I also feel like it's a continuity of care, because like my son is going to go into a treatment program starting tomorrow, a virtual one. And that team of people will be there for a chapter in our lives. Hopefully a 3-month or 4-month chapter is my hope. But then they're going to go. And then where is my support? And that's why having a support network that's solid, that stays, is really important. The other thing is that kids feel isolated. And so we just developed over the last couple of years a place for the kids to go and a place for the kids to feel supported. So I'm going to go through the different things in the community and what is available to you, but feel free to leave a comment or a question if you have those. I'm not going to answer clinical questions. You can definitely join. We currently have a series Facebook group that's happening right now that you can join, and it does close. And if you're watching this from that series, the series is over. We just finished up a free series for those of you that weren't in it. And it closed. The temporary series Facebook group will close this Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific. But if you're in the series, you can feel free to ask questions in there until then, and I'm happy to help. Jessica said, newish follower here. I started following because my very close friend has a teen, has struggled for a long time, but only recently has been told they should be evaluated for OCD. I've shared your content with her, and I'm hoping to share other resources with her. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, the best place to look for a therapist, just to start off, is NoCD, because they do virtual OCD therapy in, I believe, all 50 states and around the world. And so that's the first place I tend to recommend people, treatmyocd.com. And then I also recommend looking at the International OCD Foundation's directory. Anybody can put their name on the directory. So that's the caveat, is that you still have to do your homework. Just because they're on the IOCDF directory doesn't mean that they're vetted. You have to vet them, but it's a good start. So iocdf.org/find-help. And Ayla has put those links in. I'm not typing that. That's Ayla behind the scenes, because I am not that fast. But those are good places to start for a therapist. And that is one of the things that we do in the community is me and the other family, what do I always say family? It feels like a family, other parents, will help you connect to resources and local resources. That is a job, and that is a thing that I often do. Is say, where do you live? It's one of the first things I do when you join and you start talking to me. I'll say, are you in therapy? Are they seeing an ERP therapist? And then I'll say, where do you live? And if I don't know anybody in your area, actually, somebody just asked me for a therapist recommendation in trying to think if it was Australia or no, South Africa. And I didn't know anyone offhand that was in South Africa. And I just Googled and I researched for a while to find somebody to that looked qualified on on their website. That's all you can do sometimes. But a lot of times I know people in different areas. And so that would be a good place to start. So in the community, we try to fulfill those areas that I was just talking about. And so if people are feeling lost and lonely, they are instantly given this community. So the AT parenting community lives in a couple of different places. We got an app, and so the community has its own app through the Mighty Network. And so when you join the Mighty Network, which is a platform that provides apps for different member communities. And we have our own private app with our own private community that nobody else can see unless you're a member. And inside that app is really a lot of connection. And I love the app because now it's actually easy for me. If I'm like at the grocery line, I can pull up my phone and I can see, oh, somebody messaged me and I can respond right there. Or if a parent is having a hard time and they're in the parking lot, they can pull out their phone and they can just start chatting, talking to people. I've seen people message me when they're in a crisis and they can't reach somebody. I'm not their therapist, but it's nice to have someone who is a therapist as part of your support network. And actually, there are quite a few therapists inside as members of the community. And so that's really helpful as well. So inside the app is a lot of resources we have, and I'm going to go into what's in there, but I want to let you know the framework. So there's the app, which is the main hub. There's also a website. And so it's a member website. It's private. You log on, you get a login when you become a member. And inside the website is a bunch of stuff that we'll talk about as well. We do also have a member only Facebook group, but that is really just a supplement. A lot of people have been moving away from Facebook. It's just a bonus because if you're already on Facebook and you like Facebook groups, we have one. That's not my public Facebook group. It's a private AT parenting community group. And actually we have like 700 parents in there. We have probably about 1,200 members currently. And we probably have, I don't know, I haven't looked lately, but maybe 800 or 900, maybe Ayla knows the answer, on the app. It just keeps, growing. Some people just want to access the website, and that's fine as well. The website and the app kind of duplicate some of the things, but the website has more of like our replays of Ayla, so there's about 800 on the app right now. So a lot, and there's parents that have been in there for a long time, and there's new parents coming in. So everybody's at a different place in their journey. But what I love about having that many parents on tap is that when I'm having a problem, the likelihood that somebody else has been there, done that is very high. And also people are coming in with their own expertise. There's people who are OTs and PTs and dietitians and neurologists. And I mean, there are educated people in there who happen to know a lot of stuff. And so I feel like it's a hive brain. When I'm struggling and I go in there, somebody else always has advice, or they know something that I don't know. And so their experience saves me time, energy, and money, because I was actually recently, my son was signed up for a treatment program, a program that I really value for OCD. And I recommend for OCD all the time, and where I would send my kids for OCD, but I was going to send my son there for ARFID and for an eating disorder. And I let the community know this is what's going on in my life. And, we're scheduled to fly out on Sunday. And I got multiple messages from people in AT parenting community saying, don't send him there. We had a bad experience. And I was like, it was like really overwhelming, because I already had like booked the flights and everything, and the insurance was already approved. But I trust these people, and I canceled, and, they saved me, a lot of time, money, energy, and maybe a failed program that would have traumatized my child because I didn't know. And so that really, really helped. And now he's going to start another program, which I feel better about because he's still going to be home. Jimmy said, I spoke with my daughter's therapist about the series and your website. She's going to check it out in more detail since she saw the resources for other therapists. Oh, I love that. Well, thanks for sharing it. We do have a therapist component. I'm not really like training therapist. There is, Angela Springer does a therapist hub, and maybe Ayla can find the link for that. She's phenomenal, and she is an OCD child therapist, and she has a member group just like I do, but it's for therapists who want to understand OCD better. And so if you have a therapist who's not very skilled at OCD and they want to learn, that's a great group, or they're an OCD therapist and they want the extra support. I do have a therapist track in my community, and it's just a bonus because there are so many people out there that are like me, that are like moms and they're therapists, or they're therapists and they just want to know how to support their clients better, but they really already have the basic training. Then they join my community, and therapists get an instructional video every month from me that other members don't get. And they also get a worksheet each month that they can add and use in their practice. And they can use my courses commercially in their practice as well. Like they can show clients and use my videos as part of their community membership. So that could be helpful. Hold on, I wanted to scroll back because I thought I saw something else. Katie Ann said, wow, I can't believe you're saying this. I'm looking for inpatient now. Yeah. And there's one thing to ask a group of strangers, like in my large public Facebook group, asking people like crowdsourcing advice and saying, who knows where would be a good inpatient program, right? And you will get a lot of opinions and a lot of advice, and that's a good place to start. But I prefer asking the AT parenting community because I trust these parents. I know them. I know they're educated. Some of them I've known them for years. And so when they tell me something, it has more weight and I trust them more. And so that could be really helpful. Allie said, randomly saw this as I was browsing YouTube, and I'm subscribing to Natasha because I'm in her group. It's a really great resource for some really great people. Oh, I appreciate that. I'm glad that you stopped by. So let's talk a little bit more about what's inside the community. In the app, you can meet people. There is kind of like a feed similar to Facebook, and I wish I could show you, but I'm super careful about respecting people's privacy. And so I don't want to show you the app because I don't want you to see any names or any conversations. And I can't show you the member website either because of the same issue that the confidentiality issue is a big one for me. But in the app, there is a feed where members can talk to each other. So it's kind of similar to Facebook, but better because it's private and you see every post because there's no algorithm controlling it. And you actually, when you see people, you can start to get to know them. There is a Talk to Natasha feed on the app. And so you can post questions directly to me, and other members would see that as well, and they can participate. There is a text button in the app, and you can message anybody. And so if you don't like that or you don't want that, you can just use your initials and you could be anonymous. But if you're there to connect with people, you can go and message people. You can message me. And so I did have to create office hours because it was getting a little overwhelming because I don't know how to have boundaries. So I was answering questions at 11:30 at night, and I would answer them Saturday morning and Sunday morning, and I was getting overwhelmed. And so now I actually have hours, and so I can turn off messaging and then I turn it back on in the morning when I wake up. But you can message me directly. That is my full-time job. And so especially when we're bringing in new people, I carve out time in my weeks because I know I'm going to get inundated with questions. And so 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, Mountain Standard Time, you can ask me any question, or you can post a question and I'll circle back during those hours. But I'm there to support you, help you find the right therapist, help you know what the core fear is, help you start, if you have a question about anything, I'm here to guide you. That's what I do. But the other thing that I love about the app is you can, it will show you by location who's near you. Now, again, if you want to be anonymous, you could just put your initials and nobody will know who you are. So it's not a big deal. But I love this because I can see, oh my gosh, there's a member who lives I actually was just looking at it the other night and I was like, there's this member who lives right next to me. I mean, you don't really know where they live. You just know like the city, but moms and dads, we have a lot of dads in there too, have developed friendships because they'll go in and they'll be like, oh my gosh, look at all these UK people, or look at all these people from Canada, or these people are from Alberta too, or, oh, we're all in Australia. Now, Australia is a huge place, but you say who's close to you. And I have seen that a lot of parents have made their own little groups or have started talking to their own people or have developed friendships, or their kids have developed friendships because they are able to see who is near them. The other thing that I love about the app is you can also see, and this is only if you share this information, but you can fill out your profile. And if you fill out your profile really comprehensively, I can go in and see who else has a 16-year-old, who else has a 25-year-old. And in fact, the app kind of clusters members. And so you'll see like a cluster of, it can separate it by age. And so you can be like, oh, here are all the people who have 2 to 6-year-olds. Here are all the people that have 12 to 15-year-olds. Here are all the people that have 25 to 30-year-olds. And so it kind of helps us also see how many members we have in different age ranges, because we do have parents who have adults as well. So there's a lot of support and connecting that is a given. But then there's a lot of resources. And so sometimes people just join because they just want to feel connected. They don't want to feel alone. They want to start to know people. And you quickly start to know people because people are talking and chatting, and you message them and you'll get to know them. But there's also a huge learning component. And so if you have to do this yourself, or you want to be able to support the therapist work, then you're going to get all the tools that you need. Chat GTA said, very nice. I read the book and very grateful for you, Natasha. By the way, I wonder how long it usually takes for an adult to get diagnosed with OCD and ADHD. I think it depends. I think if you find the right people and you get connected quicker, it could be a very short journey. If you don't know who you're seeing and you're just randomly trying to find a therapist, it could be a longer journey. So definitely try treatmyocd.com. NoCD does virtual assessments. It's always better to go and get diagnosed, rule out OCD first, because sometimes OCD can look like ADHD, and then get the ADHD assessed. And that would actually have to be somebody different typically. Okay, that's what I was talking about. So we do live classes every Friday, and those live classes are on Zoom. And so they're in the middle of the day, my time. So I think they're like 12 o'clock Mountain time. So 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. British summertime or GMT. I think we're in GMT right now. I was trying to be very fancy, but I'll stop. But if you're not able to make it, we have a multitude of ways to digest the information. We have replays. We have a private podcast stream that you can listen to it on your podcast, wherever you consume your podcasts. We have a transcript. So if you like to read your stuff, you can read it. We have handouts. So on the website, we keep all of the replays. So we have hundreds of replays. So you can use the search feature and you can search any topic and you will find a class on it. On the app, just to keep it lighter and not like not making the app overwhelming, we keep about 5 classes at any given time. And so you can watch those replays directly on the app. You can also watch the classes on the app. They stream live on the app or on Zoom. So you could do either one. And then once a month, we do support group calls on Zoom instead of the class. And that is on Saturdays. We do that on Saturdays so that everybody can watch and participate. And that's the first Saturday of every month. And then parents were asking for support for their kids. And so a couple of years ago, we added support group calls for kids and support group calls for teens. We don't do adults because I am a child therapist and there are so many adult OCD support groups out there that we can give you that information and connect you. But we really wanted to do something for the kids and teens. And we have a phenomenal group of kids and teens. We get new people every month. And that is a great way of normalizing OCD for your kids. They don't have to have their camera on. They don't have to participate. They can just listen. And even just listening is so validating for them. So we have that as well. And then another thing that you get as part of the community is you get access to a huge chunk of my online classes. So they're already right there available for you in the app, and they're also available on the website. And so you don't have to log into my school, you don't have to pay for it. You have those classes available to you. Selfishly, I did that because I want you to be educated. Because if you're educated, we're going to have a more educated conversation. I can always tell who has not taken the course because they're asking me questions that they would learn and they would know if they took the course. Some people are overwhelmed and they don't have to jump into the courses, but it is there for you. And so some of the classes that you get access to are how to teach kids to crush OCD, which will walk you through. You'll literally know everything about OCD after that class, and how to help your child at home. So how to teach kids to crush OCD, how to teach kids to crush anxiety, how to handle difficult behavior caused by anxiety and OCD, the Space Study Guide course, which teaches you how to systematically pull back your enabling of OCD and anxiety. We have a sensory anxiety class, a moral OCD class. The 2 free series that I do are in the portal as well. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. The only thing that you don't get is Crushing OCD class for kids and teens. That one I didn't include because by that point, people were they were like, oh my gosh, there's too much in here. That I was like, I'm not going to add any more. I'm overwhelming people. I always tell people, you're not meant to consume all of this. This is here for you if you need it. I much rather you have it at your fingertips and it's available to you than you not having access to it. And so I always tell parents, when you join, if you have the bandwidth, just take How to Teach Kids to Crush OCD, because that's really my meat and potatoes foundational course. In my online school, it's $127. That's just one course. So those, you get over $500 worth of courses, and you get free access to them while you're in the community. And so that's pretty awesome. I'm trying to think of anything else that I didn't mention. I feel like that is the bulk of everything that we do. The doors are closing on Thursday, and they close. Sometimes people ask me, why do you close the doors? Why not just have it open? It's a lot when people come into the community. One, everybody wants to ask me a question. And so you can imagine if we get 250 new people that come in, that's a lot of questions from each person. And so that can be overwhelming if we're doing that nonstop. And it's a community, and there is a tight-knit feeling in the community. And so when we have new people, we let the members know, hey, new members are coming in. Please be warm and friendly and guide people. And so it's not as disruptive when we have people coming in just randomly all of the time. So that is why we close it. We're closing it now, and we won't open for another couple of months probably. We do have a wait list. And so if you miss this opening or it's not the right time for you, just put your name on the wait list. Once the wait list starts to, you won't see a wait list right now because we're open. But as soon as we close on Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific, you'll see a wait list button. And just join that. And when that wait list gets typically over 200, we'll open it in between openings. And so I don't think we're scheduled to open again until March. I think March. But we might open a little bit earlier for the wait list. And if you're on the wait list, you'll hear about that. I'm trying to think. I feel like there was something else I was going to tell you. There are other programs that we do that are just supplemental in the community as well. I create hope packages. And so if your child, teen, or young adult is feeling overwhelmed or they're feeling hopeless, you can let me know. You can fill out a form and you can let me know. And I will write them a letter and I will send them out a little package. And normally I send out, like, I've got these like little heart stones. I've got some like mental health stickers. I have some bracelets, and like I'll just send something out to them and let them know that they're not alone and give them some hope. And so we do a lot of things like that. We have a raffle in the community. And so once a month, we raffle off, normally the first class of the month, we raffle off a one-on-one coaching call with me. And so the only thing you have to do is just let Ayla, the AT Parenting Community Manager, know that you want to be in the raffle. And then we add your name. And as long as you're a member, we just keep you in the raffle. And the winner gets an hour call with me where I can really roll up my sleeves and coach them on how to help their kids with anxiety and OCD. So that's been fun because I've been getting to know community members a lot better through that. We also raffle off a card deck each month. And a card deck is, I've created these OCD card decks on Etsy. And so you can see them at natashadaniels.com/shop. And it's just you pull a card each day, and they're made for any age. So kids can use them, adults can use them. They're really like ageless, and they just help people build their skills. And I did that on purpose. Like I just wanted to make it fun and make people be able to keep up their skills without maybe it being so heavy lifting. And so there are things that are exposure oriented, there are motivation cards, there's self-esteem cards, and there's like involving your family cards. And so there's 4 different categories and you just pick one. We raffle off a card deck every single month. And the only thing that you have to do to participate in that is just support somebody else in the community on the app. If we see you support somebody, we write your name down, we put your name in the raffle. We just try to do some fun things. We also have guest speakers. We currently have a brand new member who asked if we could do something on body dysmorphic disorder. And we don't have any resources on that currently. And so I just reached out to like the absolute go-to Chris Tronston, who I love, who is like the BDD main guy. And we're in the works on trying to find a date when he can come and talk to us. And so we have had guest speakers on PDA, on autism, on pandas and pans. We've had guest speakers on body-focused repetitive behaviors like picking and pulling. We've had guest speakers on teen self-esteem. So when you have a topic that I'm not a specialist on, I will go find somebody and I'll bring them into the community. So it's an awesome place. I'm biased, but I love it. I found it is a welcoming place for me. And I created it for you guys, but I love it as much as what I think parents love. Normally within 4 to 5 months or 3 to 4 months, people really find their grounding. They kind of, the calm in their house improves. If their child is open to therapy, a lot of times they connect to the right therapist. They start to make headway with skills. And so I see it having a ripple effect in people's mental health, whether it's just for the parent, because sometimes the child's just not ready to work on their struggles and the parent still needs support, right? Just because your child's not ready to see a therapist or take medication or do anything, that doesn't mean that the community's not there for you, because who's taking care of you? That's a lot to carry on your own. And so we do a lot of classes on mindset, on grieving, on acceptance, on self-care. A lot of the work comes to support you and just hold space for you. And so there is a place for everybody. We have a lot of co-occurring issues. So if you're dealing with the alphabet soup that we deal with, like pandas and pans, ADHD, autism, PDA, Tourette's, picking and pulling behavior, misophonia, emetophobia, which kind of goes under the umbrella of anxiety and OCD. And I'm trying to think, ARFID, right? All the alphabet soup of things that a lot of us are dealing with. We do classes on those things. And a lot of us, I would almost venture to say most of us have kids with various issues. And the age range really varies too. And so we have parents who have toddlers, and we have parents who have adults, in their late 20s, early 30s even. And so there is a huge spectrum of issues and ages, and it's the right place for everybody. And some people have been doing this for years, and some people are brand new to this. And I love the eclectic, diversity of the group, because I feel like we're all coming from our own experience, and there's just somebody has everything, you know what I mean? Like somebody has a little person, somebody has an older person, somebody has, they're dealing with the co-occurring issues of autism and OCD, and some people have eating disorders or, fears of food allergies related to OCD. Like I honestly haven't heard one theme in there that I didn't hear from another member as well. And so that's kind of normalizing and validating, I believe, too. So do join us. It is closing on Thursday. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. I can sit for a few more minutes and answer any questions. I haven't seen any pop up. Or you can always email us. You can email us. You can email Ayla at atparentingsurvivalhelp@yahoo.com. You might not want to put your email though, because I feel like the algorithm takes it and spams us. So if we ever share our email, I always space it. And I'm sure people are like, why is she spacing it so weird? Because I feel like there's scrapers out there that just scrape our email. But feel free to email us and we are happy to let you know. I do want to let you know that I am unfortunately increasing the rate of the community starting next month. And so this will be the last opening that we have at this rate. I have not increased the rate since we opened it, like since the year that we opened it in 2019. So that's been 6 years and I've kept it at the same amount, even though all the costs for me are going up. And so the platform's more expensive, all the work's more expensive, everything we use is more expensive. But I've just been like, not going to do it. And every new community that opens up is like literally twice, if not 3 times more than what I charge. And so I'm increasing it just small, but it's currently $30 a month. I wanted it to be like a copay. But ironically, that was my copay back in 2019. My copay is $45 right now. I don't know what your copay is if you have insurance. Mine's not 30 anymore, but that is why I kept it at 30. We are going to bump it up to 37. And so when you join, you lock in this current pricing for the life of your membership. And so this is a really good time more than ever, because I don't normally say this because I don't really focus on money, but it's going to go up. And all my courses are going up because, again, everybody else is making courses that are literally double the price. And everybody has said to me, why are you charging that? And I just wanted it to be affordable, but it's good. We're going to bump it up a little bit. And so everything is going up, but you'll lock in those prices. So it's a good time to join. And we have a 6-month and a 12-month membership as well. For the 6-month, you get a month. You only pay for 5 months. And for the 12-month, you only pay for 10 months. And then it renews, and it renews at that lower rate. And so you'll always pay that lower rate. We have members who are paying our founding rate because we slowly opened it up and we started with kind of a beta test. And we have some founding members in there still from 2019, and they're paying their founding rate. And so that's pretty cool. All right. Well, I hope that you will join me. We do have a new member call coming up. Hold on, I'll tell you when. On February 1st. And so I hope to see you guys there. We will do a Zoom call. We'll introduce ourselves and get to know you a little bit better. Our upcoming class is in the community. And so this week, we're going to be talking about health anxiety and the fear of dying. And the week after, our live class will be talking about building confidence through small wins. How do we empower our kids who are feeling hopeless and overwhelmed? We'll talk about that. So I hope to see you there. All right. And if you have questions and you're watching the replay of this, feel free to leave your comments and I'll circle back and I'll answer them. All right. Take care.